A brand new tool designed to help with wastewater management planning on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, April 13th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. The issue of wastewater management here in Barnstable and across the region is a hot topic these days, as it's been for many years. For the past 2 years, the Cape Cod Commission has been in discussions about forming a regional approach. Earlier this month, the Commission unveiled a preliminary version of a computer-based tool that's designed to help take a close and comprehensive look at wastewater solutions. Cape Cod Commission Executive Director Paul Niedzwiecki appeared before the Citizens Advisory Committee this Monday.
What we've been doing at the Commission in order to support this discussion and try to empower the local efforts that are going forward is to try to work on a wastewater planning application. And this is something that would be a dynamic model that the towns and other people can use. And so what we've done at the Commission is really take that MEP water quality model. We have constructed a land and water use information, a land and water use database, and we did this with $150,000 that the state legislature gave us last year. And we've been able to tie those together preliminarily to come up with a fairly powerful nitrogen calculator. So in almost any watershed or sub-watershed now, based on existing development and based on a regional build-out that we have included in the land and water use database, we can come up with those nitrogen forecasts and calculations. And in Yarmouth, for example, where we had a lot of information, good water flow information, and a CWMP with a phased plan, we measured our nitrogen calculator against the MEP estimates, and we're very close. So we've proofed that. And what we have recently added is a cost model. So this cost model, when it's built out completely, will take every possible treatment option and identify a nitrogen removal rate that's possible, identify a cost per pound of nitrogen removal, and then also identify land use characteristics in which those treatment options are likely to be most successful.
Niedzwiecki went on to explain some of the features of the program.
So what this model has the ability to do is you can draw a polygon around any parcel or group of parcels, and it will give you specific information associated with that parcel. So what's been identified there on 28 in Yarmouth are 8 parcels. And so you can see the information that you start to get on the left-hand side is the land use breakdown. So it'll show you that 50% of those parcels are residential and 50% are commercial, or residential for commercial. On the right-hand side, you start to see the variability, and this is where that interactivity comes into place, and you're seeing it as these sliding scales now, but it will have a different, more user-friendly appearance very soon, I hope. But what you see are the 4 categories listed there, and there will be more. But the first one is attenuation. So that's sort of trying to factor in what the natural attenuation rate in a particular polygon or sub-watershed is. The second one is the treatment factor. That's really the key one. What you see represented up there are parts per million in nitrogen removed. And it goes basically from 0 to 26, 26 being a conventional Title V system that doesn't really do anything for nitrogen. So when you set it at different rates, it's analogous to having different kinds of treatment options as it relates to the nitrogen removed. We've changed that now so that what you'll see on the Lewis Bay model is it says basically sewering on one side, Title V on the other side. Underneath that is the non-residential water use factor. That's basically when you're in an area and you need to calculate for commercial build-out, for example. It's always a struggle to do build-out in a commercial area. There's a big difference between a bookstore and a restaurant, and we don't really know which one's going to go in there. We ran into that a lot when we rezoned Main Street. And then the final one really is road pipe conversion factor. And this is what we use as an estimate for pipe length when we're talking about sewer centralized collection systems is road length, but we know not every road is going to have a pipe in it. So this allows us to sort of factor that in also.
The Commission's Jay Dachins, who's been working to craft the model, gave a live demonstration to committee members.
Zoom into Lewis Bay and just pick a couple of parcels that we want to. A typical user, we just want them to be able to select a neighborhood or a watershed or any really selection set they want. So I'm just going to mimic that by using the tool. I'll just select a group of parcels here, and then I'm going to run the tool. Now the tool is getting more complicated all the time, but it is primarily running about 12 formulas off the parcel data and off the row data to get those 4 charts. So it's doing land use characteristic queries, it's doing queries for water use to determine flow and to determine nitrogen load, and then we're also going to be doing a lot of cost equations.
We're thinking about putting in some trivia questions while this thing is running. Wastewater trivia.
But Paul had mentioned before that now that you can notice the treatment factor toggle now actually says Title V now, so that the user can actually know which direction they're going in, and the percent attenuation is labeled a little bit better as well.
Yeah, while it's running, I just wanted to mention that this is sort of the desktop version, and it will have there's an enormous amount of functionality yet to be built into this model, which will be used internally. But we are working now with someone to translate the desktop model to a web-based model. And so the web-based will have a different kind of user interface. It'll be much more user-friendly than this is, much easier to use. And it'll also have different levels of functionality. So you can use high-level functionality, or if you wanted to have boards of selectmen, town managers, town administrators, those sort of policy makers take a look at it. There would be a sort of moderate, medium-level functionality. And then ultimately, we want to make some version of this available to citizens. This is a very powerful tool for us. I think it's certainly the shape of things to come in land use planning. But it is not meant to replace engineers. I mean, what this has the possibility of doing for towns is to allowing you some more flexibility in considering different kinds of model runs, before you select one to sort of, and go through the expense associated with that modeling run. But I think as important as it is for us internally as a technical tool for analysis, it is as important an improvement in public policy communication. You know, this is really about taking very complex issues, making them more easily understood in a way that average people can interact with them. And I think this is the way to sort of move these kind of discussions forward. So that is really our hope. So it's not meant to replace the engineering firms at all. It's not meant to replace MEP. It's really, as it is sort of titled right now, a tool. But that web-based version, we will be pre-profiling, or I guess, what would you call it? Unveiling at the Smarter Cape Conference on May 14th and 15th at the Seacrest in Falmouth.
Nizwicki told the CAC that this model is still in the development stage and improvements and changes are being made each day. Senator Dan Wolf commented on the model on Tuesday's episode of Barnstable This Morning. He says he's very impressed with the work of the commission and sees this as a tool that will be very helpful in the future. The commission plans to formally present the wastewater tool at the Smarter Cape Summit in Falmouth this May. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.